Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Saturday, January 19th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's small college basketball slate as well as yesterday's NBA and NHL slates. Look ahead to today's slates in all of those sports. The men's and women's Australian Open. Round 3 concludes. Round 4 begins tonight. And then my best bet of the day. Let's start with college hoops. Last night, only 7 games on the slate of note. Number 16, Buffalo defeats Eastern Michigan 77-65. Buffalo goes to 17-1. Eastern Michigan drops to 8-10. 19, Maryland defeats Ohio State 75-61. Maryland 16-3. Ohio State 12-5. Number 22, Villanova defeats Xavier 85-75. Villanova 14-4. Xavier 11-8. Iona defeats Marist 90-77. Iona 6-10, Marist 6-11. Northwestern defeats Rutgers 65-57. So much for my Northwestern call. Northwestern's 11-7. Rutgers is 8-9. I meant to say so much for my Rutgers call. St. Louis defeats St. Joseph 68-57. St. Louis 14-4. St. Joe's 8-10. Toledo defeats Ohio 75-52. Toledo 15-3. Ohio 9-8. Today's slate is very big, picking all the big games. 12 o'clock on ESPN, number 2 Michigan at Wisconsin. Michigan's favored by 3.5. Wisconsin's due for a big win. I think they hand the Wolverines their first loss of the season. ESPN 2, number 13 North Carolina at Miami. I like the Tar Heels here to win and cover the 7. UNC Wilmington and Northeastern. Tulsa at UCF. I think Tulsa wins, but UCF covers. UCF wins, but Tulsa covers the 11. Bucknell Lehigh. Florida, Georgia on CBS. Florida's a 4.5-point favorite. I think they win and cover. Georgia's not a good team. Loyola and Holy Cross. 12:30 Richmond and Davidson. Davidson's favored by 10.5. They're way better than Richmond. I think they win and cover. 1 o'clock SEC Network, Arkansas at number 18 Ole Miss. Ole Miss will bounce back and win and cover the 6.5. Western Carolina at VMI. Stony Brook at Maine. Binghamton at Vermont. Albany at UMBC. Wright State, Cleveland State. Canisius and Fairfield. Northern Kentucky and Youngstown State. UIC Green Bay. Colgate Boston University. 1:30 Cornell hosts Columbia. 2 o'clock ESPN 2. Alabama at number 3 Tennessee. Tennessee favored by 13.5. They're going to win and they're going to cover. Number 7 Kansas at West Virginia. This is a bit tricky. I think West Virginia is due for a bit of a breakthrough game. They're winless in conference play. I don't see that lasting. I just have a gut feeling about the Mountaineers at home. Give me West Virginia pull off the home upset to get back to 500 on the year. Number 17 NC State at Notre Dame. NC State's favored by 2. Same thing with Notre Dame. They're just due for a big win. I think they get it. On Fox, you have 25 Indiana at Purdue. Purdue's favored by an egregious 8.5. I think Purdue will win, but Indiana covers the big number. Oakland at Detroit Mercy. Pitt at Syracuse. Syracuse favored by 7.5. I think Syracuse wins, but Pitt covers. CBS Sports Network, Tulane at UConn. UConn's favored by 15.5. I think UConn wins, but Tulane covers. Niagara at Quinnipiac. Loyola Chicago at Indiana State. UMass Lowell at Hartford. Lafayette at American. Illinois at Evansville. Or should say Illinois State. James Madison at Drexel. Appalachian State at Coastal Carolina. 2 o'clock CBS. Cincinnati at Wichita State. Cincinnati's the better team. I think they win and cover the 5.5. 2:30. Western Michigan and Bowling Green. Northern Illinois and Kent State. NBCSN Rhode Island at LaSalle. Rhode Island's favored by 5. I think they win and cover. Southeast Louisiana at Vincennes. Army Navy. Army favored by 6 at home. I think they win, but Navy covers. 3 o'clock FAU Western Kentucky. Louisiana at UL Monroe. North Dakota at North Dakota State. Stanford at Washington State. Stanford's favored by 1. Washington State's the home team. And I think they'll win and cover. Sacramento State at Southern Utah. Little Rock at UT Arlington. Georgia State at Troy. Mercer at Sanford. 3:30 St. Francis, Pennsylvania, Central Connecticut State. Missouri at Texas A&M. A&M's favored by 5. I think Missouri wins this outright on the road. Akron at Miami of Ohio. Yale and Brown. 4 o'clock, Wake Forest at number 9 Virginia Tech. That's a big number. Virginia Tech should win, but Wake, I think, can cover. On ESPN, you have number 12 Kentucky at number 14 Auburn. Auburn's favored by 4.5. This is tough. I like Auburn here at home to win and cover. It won't be a good look for John Calipari's team today, but I like the direction of that team. But Auburn at home, they're going to be fired up. Robert Morris at Bryant. Portland State at Northern Arizona. Longwood at Presbyterian. Southern Miss at Old Dominion. Georgia Southern at South Alabama. Delaware State at Bethune-Cookman. Jacksonville at NJIT. Louisiana Tech at Charlotte. Sacred Heart at St. Francis Brooklyn. Howard at South Carolina State. Alana at William and Mary. 4 o'clock CBS. UCLA at USC. USC favored by 1.5. UCLA, I think, is the better team. They should win. Coppin State and NC Central. Maryland Eastern at Florida A&M. ESPN 2, TCU at Kansas State. This is tough, but I'm going to take Kansas State minus the 3 here. I like how Kansas State looked the other night. Charleston at Hofstra. Louisville at Georgia Tech. Louisville's favored by 4.5. This could be a trap game. I think Louisville goes down to Georgia Tech today, and Tech wins as an outright 4.5-point underdog. Mount St. Mary's at Wagner. Pepperdine at Loyola Marymount. Northern Iowa at Valparaiso. UNC Greensboro at East Tennessee State. Morgan State at NCA&T. On ESPNU, SMU at Memphis. Memphis favored by 3.5. Tough call, but I think Memphis wins and covers. But I think it's a close game. 4:15 Austin Peay at Eastern Illinois. 4:30 Radford at UNC Asheville. On Fox, you have St. John's at Butler. Butler favored by 4.5. Butler needs this win. I think they get it. And they cover to 4.5. Ball State at Central Michigan. Fairleigh Dickinson at LIU Brooklyn. Florida Gulf Coast at Kennesaw State. Dayton at St. Bonaventure. Dayton's favored by 2.5. I think they win and cover. Stephen F. Austin at Incarnate Word. Stetson at North Alabama. Winthrop at South Carolina Upstate. The Citadel at Chattanooga. Nichols at Central Arkansas at 5 o'clock. Cal at Washington. Washington favored by 17.5. They should win and cover that easily. Penn at Temple. Penn is getting 7.5. I think they can cover, but I'm going to say the Temple wins. They're the better team. Arkansas State at Texas State. Montana State at Eastern Washington. 5:30 Fresno State at Boise State. Boise's favored by 2. I think they win and cover to get back to 500. Campbell at Charleston Southern. 6 o'clock ESPN. Number 4 Virginia. Number 1 Duke. Duke's favored by 3.5. No Trey Jones. Am I going to do it? Am I going to pick the Wahoos as an underdog to win outright at Duke? No way Duke loses 2 home games in a row. Give me Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett to lead the way for the Blue Devils to hand the Cavaliers their first loss of the season, regardless of Trey Jones' status. ESPN 2, 8, Texas Tech at Baylor. Tech's a 4-point favorite. I like Baylor to win this one outright at home. I don't like how Texas Tech looked the other night. Norfolk State at Savannah State. ESPNU, Oklahoma State at Iowa State. Iowa State favored by a whopping 12.5. I think they win, but Oklahoma State covers. South Carolina at LSU. I think South Carolina's run of being undefeated in SEC play comes to an end. I think LSU will win, but I'm going to say the Gamecocks at least cover. Tennessee State at Belmont. UC Irvine at Cal State Northridge. Wyoming at New Mexico. Jackson State at Prairie View. Rice at North Texas, UTEP at Middle Tennessee, Alabama State at Alabama A&M, New Orleans at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, 6:30 Mississippi Valley State at Alcorn State, NBC, SN, UMass, and VCU. VCU is laying 8.5. I think they win and cover. Arkansas Pine Bluff at Southern, UT Martin at Morehead State, 7 o'clock Northwestern State at Abilene Christian, Hampton at Gardner-Webb, FIU at Marshall. Pac-12 Network, Oregon State at Arizona. Arizona's -5. I think they're going to bounce back here and win, and they'll cover the number. North Florida at Liberty. Manhattan at Rider. Southeast Missouri State at Eastern Kentucky. Furman at Wofford. IUPUI at Milwaukee. Towson at Delaware. Fordham at George Mason. George Mason's laying 9.5. I think they win, but Fordham covers. Fordham's been a cover machine lately, by the way. San Jose State at UNLV at 7:30. 8 o'clock. Number 20, Oklahoma at Texas. Texas favored by 4. I think they win and cover. Number 21, Houston at South Florida on ESPNU. I think there's a chance that South Florida comes out and plays a strong game. I'm going to say the South Florida covers, but the Cougars find the way to win. They're just a better team. Sam Houston State at Houston Baptist. Murray State at SIU Edwardsville. Hawaii at UC Riverside. UTSA at UAB. DePaul at Seton Hall. Seton Hall is -8. I think Seton Hall wins, but DePaul covers. Seton Hall gets a little bit of revenge against DePaul straight up, but I could see DePaul getting garbage time points to stay within the number. Tennessee Tech at Jacksonville State. Cal Poly at UC Davis. Purdue Fort Wayne at Western Illinois. 8:30 SEC Network. Number 24 Mississippi State at Vanderbilt. Mississippi State should win and cover, and I believe they will. Big Ten Network, Penn State at Minnesota. Minnesota by 4. I think a big bounce back here by the Golden Gophers here at home. They're laying 4. They win and cover. Grambling at Texas Southern. 9 o'clock Colorado State at Utah State. New Mexico State at Utah Valley. UMKC at Grand Canyon. San Diego at St. Mary's. Northern Colorado and Weber State. Pac-12 Network 9:30, Oregon at Arizona State. ASU is a 3.5-point favorite. I think they win, and I think they cover. I just think Oregon's overrated without Bull. Number 10, Nevada hosts Air Force at 10 o'clock on ESPNU. Nevada's favored by 22. I'm going to say they win and cover. Number 5, Gonzaga at Portland. Give me Gonzaga the win and cover the 27. They've just been a covering and winning machine of late. Texas, Rio Grande at Seattle. CSU Fullerton at Long Beach State. Santa Clara at Pacific. Chicago State at Cal State Bakersfield. Montana at Idaho. And then at 11 o'clock, BYU at San Francisco. And I think San Francisco wins, but BYU covers the 6.5. Now we'll move on to the NBA. There were a couple notable results of last night. 7 games on the slate. The Celtics defeat the Grizzlies 122-116. Boston improves to 27-18. Memphis drops to 19-26. The Pistons defeat the Heat 98-93. Detroit goes to 20-24. Miami drops to 21-22. The Nets defeat the Magic 117-115. The Nets are 24-23. They're over 500, folks. Orlando drops to 19-26. The Spurs defeat the Timberwolves 116-113. San Antonio goes to 27-20. Minnesota drops to 21-24. The Jazz defeat the Cavaliers 115-99. Utah's 26-21. Cleveland's 9-37. The Warriors defeat the Clippers 112-94. Golden State 32-14. Clippers 24-21. Boogie Cousins came back and was pretty good, although he fouled out. The Trailblazers defeat the Pelicans 128-112. Portland 28-19. New Orleans is 21-25. Today's slate, 3:30 ABC, the Thunder at the Sixers. Philly's favored by 1.5 at home. I don't like how Oklahoma City's been playing of late, so give me Philly in what I think would be a statement win on ABC for them against the Western Conference team. 5 o'clock, you have the Suns at the Hornets. 7 o'clock, the Kings at the Pistons. The Mavs at the Pacers. The Bucks at the Magic. 7:30, the Celtics at the Hawks. The Grizzlies at the Raptors. 8 o'clock, the Heat at the Bulls. 8:30, ABC. The Lakers at the Rockets. How are the Rockets only favored by 7? Are they overvaluing the Lakers' win at Oklahoma City? Maybe. But I see a big letdown here for the LeBron James-less Lakers in a primetime spot. James Harden's the hottest player in the NBA right now. He can't be stopped. I think Houston wins by double digits. I won't be shocked if they win by 20 plus. And at 10 o'clock, you have the Cavaliers at the Nuggets. The NHL last night, the Panthers defeat the Maple Leafs 3-1. Good, much-needed win for Florida. They are 18-20-8. Toronto is 29-16-2. The Canadiens defeat the Blue Jackets 4-1. Montreal 27-17-5. Columbus 28-16-3. The Islanders defeat the Capitals 2-0, and Barry Trotz has returned to DC. Islanders 28-15-4. Washington 27-15 and 5. The Senators defeat the Hurricanes 4-1. That's who cost me my best bet from yesterday, meaning the Carolina Hurricanes, who dropped to 22-20 and 5. Ottawa improves to 19-24 and 5. The Flames defeat the Red Wings 6-4. Calgary goes to 31-13 and 5. Detroit drops to 18-24 and 7. The Penguins defeat the Coyotes 3-2 in overtime. Much needed win for Pittsburgh. They're 25-15 and 6. Arizona 21-22 and 4. The Canucks defeat the Sabres 4-3. And the Canucks are now your second wild card in the Western Conference. They are 22-21 and 6. Buffalo's 24-18 and 6. Today's slate at 1 o'clock, you have the Ducks at the Devils. At 3 o'clock, the Kings at the Avalanche. 7 o'clock, the Rangers at the Bruins. The Flyers at the Canadiens. The Sharks at the Lightning. The Senators at the Blues. The Jets at the Stars. 8 o'clock, the Panthers at the Predators. 9 o'clock, the Blue Jackets at the Wild. 10 o'clock, the Flames at the Oilers. And the Penguins at the Golden Knights. Women's Australian Open Round 3 concluded last night. We'll go through the results and pick today's matches. Naomi Osaka defeats Haisi Sui. Elena Svitolina defeats Zhang Suhei. Anastasia Sevastova defeats Wang Qiang. Serena Williams defeats Diana Yastremka. And Madison Keys defeats Elise Mertens. Overnight, Simona Halep defeats Venus Williams. Gabriela Muguruza defeats Timea Basinski. Carolina Pliskova defeats Camila Giorgi. Tonight begins round 4 of the women's side of things. 4 matches. You have Petra Kvitova against Amanda Anisimova. Give me Kvitova there to move on. She's your number 8 seed. You have 15th-seeded Ashley Barty against 30th-seeded Maria Sharapova. I think Sharapova is going to go on a run here, and she'll knock off Ashley Barty here. Danielle Rose Collins has been a nice little underdog story of this tournament. She's going up against Angelique Kerber. I really like Angelique Kerber in this spot to end Danielle Rose Collins' nice little run. And your overnight is Solane Stevens, your 5 seed, against Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. I don't see Solane Stevens losing this match. She is the superior player, so I expect her to move on. And now to the men's side of things, where their round 3 also concluded. Daniil Medvedev defeats Daniel Goffin. Kei Nishioka defeated Joao Sosa. Pablo Carreno Busta defeated Fabio Fognini. Milos Raonic defeated Pierre Hughes Herbert. Novak Djokovic defeated Denis Shapovalov. Borna Coric defeats Filip Krajinovic. Alexander Zverev defeated Alex Bolk. And Lucas Paole defeated Alexei Popyrin. And then tonight begins round 4 for the men's. You have Francis Tiafoe against 20-seeded Grigor Dimitrov. Give me Dimitrov to move on. Tomas Berdych against 2-seeded Rafael Nadal. Give me Nadal. Overnight, number 6-seeded Marin Cilic against 22-seeded Roberto Bautista Agut. This is a good run for Bautista Agut, but I think it comes to an end against a much superior player in Cilic. And the second overnighter is a good one. Stefanos Tsitsipas against Roger Federer. Federer's your 3-seed. Tsitsipas is your 14-seed. Federer's just a better tennis player, and I think it will be the best match of the night on either side. Give me Federer to advance to the next round. Before I go, I'll do my best bet brought to you by DraftKings. 12-team college basketball parlay. Northeastern, UCF, Holy Cross, Davidson, Vermont, Tennessee, North Carolina Central, Bethune-Cookman, William & Mary, Florida A&M, Wagner, and Virginia Tech. About 2-1, wagering $1.02, with the payout of $3.37. That's it today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping all the college basketball, NBA, and NHL games. Look ahead to tomorrow's slate in each of those sports. Go over to men's and the women's side of the Australian Open. Look ahead to Sunday's matches. And we'll preview the NFC and AFC championship games more in depth, and I'll give you my best bet of the day. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.